Hey there, Coach Patrick here from Endurance Station. I'm just back from Ironman Lake Placid, and I have 3 mistakes that I saw triathletes make on race day that just ruined everything for them, and they're so easy to fix. It's part of our 4 keys of race execution methodology. We have a free course, and I'll link it at the end of this video so you get a chance to check it out. All right, number one, and this is really, really hard to believe, but triathletes don't do a practice swim. Practice swimming allows you to do a couple different things all at once. And it sounds like a logistical pain, getting down there to swim at the right time, to find parking, given all the other things that you have going on at that point in time. It's kind of a lot of friction, right? And you're asking yourself, do I really need to know what it's like to swim? Do I really, like I swum before, I've swum in my wetsuit, I've swum with my goggles. Do I really need to do it? But here's why. Race day conditions are different. And race day nerves show up on, guess what? Race day. And they're not there when you're training. When you get in the water on race day, you're overwhelmed by the sensations of other athletes around you and all of the other stimuli that are going on, announcers, rock music, where the sun position is, wind, chop, birds, whatever else is going on inside your life, seaweed, right? Small fishies, little mussels on the bottom of your feet stabbing you, they'll silently, stabbing you. How do you deal with this? You do a practice swim. The practice swim means that you're going to focus on putting on your equipment, making sure your equipment works, right? If you fail the practice swim because you don't have the equipment, you got a problem to solve, and you got time to do it because you did the practice swim, right? Make sure all the gear works, etc. Then you can focus on entry and exit of the water. Allows you to really check out, where am I coming in, where am I going out? Questions you may not ask, but when you're there on the venue thinking about it in full swim mode, really easy to discern what the entry looks like and what the exit looks like. Bonus points to you if you actually do it during the time or around the time that you'll actually be swimming. That allows you to orient yourself to the position of the sun and what the conditions will be like, whether it's tidal or current-wise as well. And that's really what we're looking for from the swim, which is, what is the water experience like for you swimming here relative to at home, whether you're in open water or in the pool? That's a big differentiator, but more importantly, it's a big confidence builder for you. Allows you to know, hey, listen, I can get in the water. I know what it feels like. I know what visibility is like under the water. I know what my sighting markers are, right? I'm looking off of that water tower, that tree line, etc., based on what I want to achieve and where I want to be on the day. It also lets you kind of scope out what's going on down there and really help settle down the nerves, because the swim is the biggest unknown. Remember, when we swim and our head goes in the water, we're effectively blind to everything going around us, and also deaf, unless you've got some sort of sensory ability I'm not aware of. And as a result, practice swim is key. Get down there, do the practice swim, eliminate those problems. All right, here we go. Time for number 2. The second most important mistake, critical mistake, that triathletes make on race day is they don't know how to ride hills. Just debriefing with our athletes last night on one of our post-race calls, and they were blown away by the number of athletes who were getting hills wrong. And you probably get hills wrong too as well. So most athletes look at hills as an opportunity to do a lot of work, right? Hills are when the road pushes back on you. And so what do we naturally do? We push too, right? It gets into this shoving match, like 2 little pre-teenage boys trying to shove each other to win the top of a hill contest. We don't want to play top of hill contests as a triathlete. We want to play finish line contests. You're in a race with yourself, not with a hill and not with anybody else on the course. So how do we do a better job of climbing hills? How do you avoid just coasting down a hill, pedaling along softly on the flats, and then hammering each hill like it's going to make a difference? I got newsflash for you. If you take it easy going down hills, you take it easy on the flats, and you only work hard going up, you're going to go really, really slow, and you're going to be really, really tired. So here's how we do it inside Endurance Station. When you're riding along on the flats, you're in your aero bars or wherever you may be positioned, and you've got that just general sense of flow state, and you're working, right? And you can most importantly, you can feel the pressure on the pedals of your feet. If you have a power meter, bonus, you can see the numbers. As you enter the hill and start to ride up that hill, do the job of maintaining that same pressure on your feet and that same number on your power meter. So you're going to start to notice that your effort drops, your speed drops as you enter this hill and go up. At some point in time, you'll hit a sustainable number, and probably cadence as well, as you're shifting around this effort. And now you've got a steady number you can climb this hill. This is the power that you can climb to the top of the hill pretty easily, as best you can, given the gears and the terrain, etc. Most of the time, you're sitting up. Hands are loose, relaxed. Shoulders are loose. You're breathing deeply because you're sitting up and just taking your time. It's here where everyone else starts to pull away from you. They start to go really hard. They shift. They're in the wrong gear. They're standing up. They're hammering. They're climbing up to the top of that hill, and you're just kind of cruising along. By the time you get to the top of the hill, let's get over here, top of that hill, they're way ahead of you, and you're back here just going steady. They get to the top of the hill, they're exhausted. Heart rate is beeping like a bomb's about to go off. They're trying to catch their breath, and they start coasting, and they start slowly going down the hill. You, on the other hand, are maintaining the steady effort up the top of the hill. The minute you feel that hill let off, you shift a little harder and start pushing on those pedals to get your speed up. We start doing work at the crest of the hill, right here at the top. You look at that really terrible hill I'm drawing. right here at the top, we start putting that power on so we get some speed right back again. So instead of going 5 miles an hour to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 down that hill, we go from 5 to 9 to 13 to 27 really quickly. So we maintain lots of new speed right down into those flats and go again. So we do all the work by being patient on the uphill and then really over the top doing the work into the downhill. We want to do that work there because it gets our total speed up. Time at speed is what makes you faster. And if you're spending most of your time going easy as you cruise between hills where you murder yourself, at the end of the day, you're going to be in a position where you're very slow and you're very exhausted. So get away from those spikes. Don't burn those matches. Instead, really focus on pedaling smoothly up those hills, staying relaxed, doing the work at the top to build the speed you can take you down the hill and into the flats and carry that momentum along. All right, that's a lot to learn right there. You may want to watch that part again. I'm just saying. All right, you can practice it in your training as well. And the third most critical mistake that triathletes make on race day is those first few miles. I can't say it enough. You come off the bike, you're exhausted. It's been work, whether you're doing a sprint or a full Ironman distance. Biking is hard work. It's stressful. You're operating and making decisions at speed. You're trying to eat and drink, navigate the conditions of other athletes, the weather, etc. It's tough. So you roll in a transition. You're super excited. You want to leave the bike behind. At this critical decision point, it's like rush hour because you're trying to get out of there as fast as you can. A lot of athletes make mistakes in transition, which is why it's worth practicing that, or at least having a really set process you've gone through in your mind. But the problem with that rush hour is it carries right over into the run. And what you're ignoring here is the transition from bike workload to run workload. And athletes are so excited to be not biking, also known as running, that they take off here at the beginning of the run. They feel fast. The legs have been turning over from the bike. They start turning over as well. And you'll go out and look and you'll see, and you've been there yourself if you race, your first, second, or third mile, some of your fastest miles you've run probably in the last few weeks, if not this entire year. You don't want to be doing that in a race that's longer than 3 miles. If you're doing a sprint, hey, go out there, hang on, do all you can. If you're doing an Olympic all the way up to a full iron distance race, you cannot sprint out of transition. And here's why. When you go too fast, you're doing two things. One is you're not letting your body adapt to the new stress of running. Running metabolically much harder than just cycling, right? Cycling, we get the cooling effects, etc. We can coast. Running, it's just you running. It's work. It's harder. It's hotter. And if you're in tough conditions like we have now here in the summer, or like we had up at Lake Placid, you'll really put yourself in the hurt locker quickly because you will accumulate core body temperature that you cannot shed without stopping. And again, then you start losing time. All right. And the second piece is that these early miles are where you actually really get in the bulk of your calories for the run. Now, you've been doing a good job on the bike, but if this is your entire bike leg and you started over here and you were eating and drinking, you were being good, just about halfway, right about here, always halfway of the race, right about here, that's when you stop eating. That's when you really start to get into a position where you're like, oh my goodness, I can't actually consume any more calories. I'm just kind of the food, it's the frequency, whatever it is, the position, and you stop. So when we get on the run, we actually do need to start consuming some calories, and we have to do it in those first few miles. That means making sure that we're getting some food in just out of transition and the first few aid stations as well. Because the longer your race is, like half or full, those last couple of miles, you are definitely not eating or drinking anything. Maybe you're getting some Coke in, maybe a little bit of Gatorade or sports drink, but odds are you're going to be running on fumes at that point in time. So use these early miles to lock in that pace, get your RPE and the heart rate steady and locked in run mode without any spikes, without accumulating the core body temperature, and start that nutritional pattern and try and hold it for as long as you can so you can be successful. These are just a few of the tips that we have inside our free race execution course, the 4 keys of race execution. The link is below. It's in the comments as well. Consider this a public service announcement. It's a free course. Go ahead, take it. Just get in there and learn more about what we recommend you use as a framework for solid decisions on race day. Literally, people spending thousands of dollars on bikes, races, family, to go to a race where they totally bork it up because they just don't want to follow basic common sense and the rules that we're giving away to you for free. So if you like this, please share it with your friends, tell other people about it. If they're triathletes doing these races, tell them to do it the right way, and Endurance Nation can help them out. Thanks so much. I'll be back next week with another coach video check-in. Till then, peace. See you.